Oh man, is that a real background with all your action
Yeah,
figures, or is that
yeah,
just
yeah.
is
It's a
that
real
green screen?
background. Funkos, Transformers, Witcher stuff.
Oh sweet. Oh, I was playing. Was it about 3 weeks ago? I was like, I got Witcher on Steam. I was like, I remember this game. Started playing it a little bit. Like, what a badass game! I love that game.
Nerd Reactor, roll out.
All right, so yeah, all right.
All right,
John, Delusion, it's back.
John. John, Nerd Reactor is
Yeah.
back.
Okay, so I don't know. The first thing I want to talk about for this one is this going to be the last year at the Phillips Mansion because you've done it at the previous 2 years. So this is like the trilogy, and you are going like full stop everything from the past to the present of your previous Delusion projects, and like where did that come from? Like is it like this is the last year? I'm gonna do everything here from the. It's like an homage.
Yeah, that could be like a smorgasbord of madness. Basically, yeah, it's our last year because the house behind me is going to be renovated. They got a grant to fix that up, so our time there ends. But yeah, I just felt like this would be a good. Well, actually, it stemmed from the very the frustration of writing these shows, the the difficulty of writing these shows, where I'm like, the idea really came from, what if this was sort of a metaphor to the madness of writing these shows, where this creator of the Delusion series, this author, has penned all the previous Delusions, and then the author has sort of gone mad from all the stories that have come to life. That this is not a gift that the author really wanted, but she is making she's doing it all for a very strong purpose in the end. That of course I won't reveal, but it's all just sort of it's all metaphorical, like for me, and bringing back some like key characters from the past, and I mean not everybody, because there were, I think, with all the delusions, there's like 42 or 43 characters throughout the span of the series, so that'll be rich for like a TV series we get going one day. That'd be fun, but I had to pick and choose. So bringing back some interesting characters that are thrust into other stories. So and then you are Delusion fans within the Delusion series of stories. So it's I've seen some people call it like the meta version of Delusion, and that's um, not a bad description.
Oh yeah, this is very meta. And for me, as a gamer, I've played Alan Wake.
Yeah,
He's an author, and then whatever he writes comes to life. And so it's like a nightmare. Just like whatever you pen on the page, and that thing comes to life. And it's like, be careful what you write or what you wish for.
yeah.
Will the the guests feel like something like that, where the author in the madness just starts to think about something, and then it just pops up in front of them?
Well, I mean that would be a bit of a spoiler, but which basically by answering that is like spoiled it. But no, I mean there is obviously references to the things that you're reading. There they are, the things that you've the snippets of a clue here, and there's this creature, there's this character. You don't know exactly who's who and who's real in this world. So yeah, that whole aspect is strong, and I want to kind of tie it together with sort of an emotional kick at the end. Why this author is doing this whole thing, and sort of not to say the Delusion series is going to end, but it's this Delusion saga kind of wraps up into this piece, and we'll see what happens for following years. But we have a breadth of stories to pull from. So
Yeah,
this
and
one's
there's
this one's a what's that?
no, no. I was saying there's a lot of stories, and you're trying to figure out which one to add in. Is there ever a thought like, I think the Delusionals, they love this part of the story of the this show, or this one? Do you have that? You take that into account?
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm a fan. I think we've talked before about this too, and I always say like I'm like you guys. Like I'm a fan of this, and I remember, oh, that was such a cool moment in his Crimson Queen when this happened. So all right, let's take that and put it over here and see if that fits. And if it fits, great. If it doesn't, I don't want to force anything. But it's am I writing this for the true delusional fans? In part, yes, because at the same time, like you can have people who, and you probably experienced this, and other people have as well too. Is there's so much happening in the Delusion show that you kind of miss some of the story. Like you just you miss what people are saying. Oh my God, that's cool over there. You talk to your friends, and then you miss something. So I'm hoping that people will still be able to be captivated within these interesting characters and the worlds that they've been placed in. They don't have to get everything. Like I'm pretty notorious for being confusing. So, um, this will also be like wonderfully twisted and confusing, but it'll be in an ambiguously wonderful way where you just kind of leave questioning some of the things you've seen and, oh, I saw this character and how did that relate to this character? And lots of discussion after the show. Lots of I would recommend multiple visits for this one for sure.
Hmm. And with this just being like I would say, a blast from the past type feel, is there anything that you did for this one where you want to try to capture new audiences?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're going to get a taste of different stories from the past, so they might say, like, say for example, the brides from his Crimson Queen, these vampire brides, like they might have a moment where they see that character, and though they don't know the full breadth of that story, it doesn't matter because they're very interesting characters, and there's a very interesting scene with them. So it's sort of like a little tease into, oh God, I'm curious about all these other stories from Delusion, like maybe remount some of those. So that's it's in the cards as well too, to bring back some of the older shows as they were. Um, and sort of and this is sort of the tease of the whole thing. So we'll see. Hopefully, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's all about like fun. Just go there and have fun and get swallowed into the story, and you'll have no choice but to be dragged along the ride. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think there's gonna be time to be like, oh, I wonder about this. It's pretty
Yeah.
fast paced.
And with this one being once again the Phillips Mansion, are you ever worried that it's going to be the same feeling like for those that went the previous 2 years? Like, oh man, I've been in this room before, or you're adding
Oh,
like a new twist and take on like certain areas, or you dress things up a bit where it's like completely different.
absolutely was taken into account for sure. Like I thought about it as I remember the first year we hid the back mansion. So when people came there, they thought the whole show was in this mansion right here. And
Oh
then
yeah.
you're surprised you see the back one. Now the following year, it's like you know about the back one, and then you're led in some different path to get there through like hiding in a trailer of a caretaker's pickup truck. And then this year we're going to places that people last year never got to see. Um, and people prior to that, like 2 years ago, they might have seen it, but it's very different. So I'm taking into account the flow of this show is going to be in such a way that you're going to leave saying, "God, I've been here 3 years and I still don't know where the hell I am." Like that's going to be the feel for a lot of people.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
because where the prologue starts too is nobody's really. Some people have been there, but not in this way. So it's that was all taken into account. Yeah, so this will kind of be a good wrap up where everybody gets to experience all the areas of all the places of the Phillips
Hmm.
estate.
And so when you're, let's say when you're doing that, trying to take the people to like different areas, is it the story that comes first, or is it the room or the area that comes first, and then you try to make a story out of that?
Uh, well, the story comes first. Like I know the place like the back of my hand at this point, but I construct the story, the basic concept, and then the next step is really to figure out the flow. What's the best flow, like logically or logistically, to make this work? Because that's the madness of writing these shows is the logistical aspect, the boring things that nobody wants to hear about on this podcast. And maybe some people do about like double casting and how you make this work with like four shows going on at the same time. It's pretty wild. But I yeah come up with the concept first and then place it into the flow of the show and then things change. This is the flow has changed multiple times here, but that's the delicate balance, keeping things moving along, never backtracking. Um, but the story is always number one. Like, how are you getting
Hmm.
into it? What's the what's the theme and the energy, what's your purpose here. That's always of vital importance for every show, for every Delusion show.
Yeah, in every Delusion show, there's always elements where the goal is to kind of immerse you, but also scare you. And I think with this one, you're introducing a new aspect with the VIP experience, where I guess they can take part in it and scaring other guests. So I want to like just talk more about that.
Which is so funny because over the years, the thing I've learned, and anybody who's been to shows, don't take this the wrong way, but is to don't trust your audience too much because people do crazy shit all the time. But we have a very wonderful, diehard, respectful audience, unless they have too much to drink. But this is taking it to that other level. Like, not only are we trusting them, but we're trusting them even further to actually take part in a scene to scare their guests. So the story's been carefully constructed to allow for this VIP ballroom private bar where the guests are going to be able to put on these like quick, easy, tattered clothing, like you're a zombie kind of thing. And then you partake in a scene where you're sort of rising from the dead on a certain cue. So make it very simple and easy for people, but incredibly fun. And if you've gone through the show, then you'll recognize like the scene that you were in prior. Some people will be doing it before. Sure, is that a little bit of a spoiler? Okay, but when you're in the world, you'll be fine. You're not really going to think about it too much. But yeah, this is something that we're rolling the dice on. Like, I came up with it while I was writing, and I was like, you know what, let's go for it. Let's just try it, and let's trust people to do the right thing. Again, they'll be monitored, of course. But,
so what are you doing? No.
Yeah, no. Everybody's getting a background check before they no. So yeah, no, it's a cool way to like our theme is play your part, right? So this is even going further with that. So I think this VIP, I want to come up with something besides just you get swag or that's about it. So this will be fun. Like, you can actually hang out there for a while and do this scene multiple times if you wanted to. I just want to keep scaring people. Like,
yeah.
Just do it. So this could be fun. I'm going to be doing it plenty of time.
And you've done the whole, like, let's say the QA testing to see like, all right, this is how we're going to do this. And then making sure like, oh, if it goes off the beaten path, it can still be salvageable.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into rehearsals. I mean, at the end of the day, to be honest, it's not going to be field tested until the first show. We're going to do our best to fail safe everything, but it's really not the most difficult thing in the world. It's as long as you're monitored, you're right there. You have PAs, we have our security. Like, it's nothing that's there's no real dangerous aspect to it for sure. It's gonna be, I think it'll be great. And we can go back to this conversation and I can eat my words if it doesn't work. But you know what? We're giving it a shot. I'm
expecting a lot of bloopers.
Oh man, that's gonna be fun. We got to record that. You're right.
Oh yeah, and with this one, Esther Phillips, she's going to be back, and it's the Phillips Mansion. So it's kind of like you got to have her. So what's going to make her different this time around? Because the previous one is the cult, but it takes place in a different era, different time period, and so how is she going to be incorporated into this one?
Yeah, it's interesting. This whole Esther Phillips saga is turning out to be a pretty wild ride that does deserve she deserves her own movie or something, because it's just a very storied past. So storied is the right word here. Without going into too much detail, like she's a key player in a lot of the previous Delusion stories, with the last two, and she plays this sort of mysterious part in this that I can't get too deep into. I mean, it would kind of be it would be a major spoiler. So, but she's there, and she will be there in this mansion here as sort of our host and our guest. And so part of the allure of this year that we're expanding on is the open world aspect of this, the exploratory lounge. We call it the spectral soiree, which I know you'll I'm jumping ahead to probably a question you'll have later, but she's a part of that. She's hosting people there. Her purpose there is unique and interesting, along with other characters like we're gonna have, if people remember, Manny Manners is this doll that you can carry around. In the first year, you carried him around, and he's this wicked possessed little doll that can speak to you live. And he was there last year. He made a cameo last year, and then this year he's got even more of a role. So in this mansion, guests will be able to find him and pick him up and go on little walks and adventures with him in the mansion here. Go get a drink with Manny Manners at the bar, and like just carry him around. And then he might say like, "I'm tired, put me down." So you put him down on the couch, and then somebody else sees him, picks him up. So he's like this doll character that's roaming the mansion along with Esther and Marion from the Lies Within series. He's this like tall, looming puppet master of sorts who's hosting the bar upstairs in the second floor. And then we have various artists like magicians and some dancers some night performing in the Dark Arts Lounge Theater that we're building. So there's that. And then there's something happening in the attic that is an intimate scene that is basically there's a specter that you can connect with if you find the right spell to raise the dead. So there's something going on in the attic that's even more intimate and creepy. So there's just a lot happening here this year. We're going to probably open that up to like a separate ticket if people can't do the live experience and they just want to come to a really badass haunted soiree, then they can come here. But it's just, to me, it's the whole package of this and the narrative show. It's just, there's so much happening that it's best for people to really make a full night out of it. So that's well, I'll be hanging out there a lot, I'm sure. It just sounds like stupid fun. Not stupid.
Yeah.
Fun.
It's just a good time, Good time at the mansion, hanging out with Esther and Manny. And with 13th floor, you've been a part of that. So how's that been like, just in terms of helping you with these shows? Like
they've been wonderful. They're great partners on this. The fact that they have so many haunted houses around the country allows for exploration into this type of immersive theater, the more higher ticket price, lower capacity kind of stuff. And they believe in it, and they've been pushing it for the last 2 years. And, it's not there because of the throughput. We get 300 people instead of 5,000 a night. The margins there aren't as great as the haunted houses, but they're still good. And they if you're just relying solely on that, then it's not really going to work. But it's like, I always say Sony, they're like Sony and we're Sony Classics. And they're the parent company, and they believe in it, and they've been taking a lot of things off my plate, which is great. The producing is done by my friend Dave Brzezowski, who's an incredible producer for the last 3 years of Delusion now. And they have their marketing team. They have all the apparatus there to help out and push this project. So it's interesting to see, like, this is as you said, this is our last year in Pomona. Next year, we're looking back in LA, closer to LA. There's a couple spots right now. So that'll be interesting to see if people are, the fact that people are making the drive out to Pomona is great, because it's not that close to most people. That just shows their devotion to it. But see if we can make something closer to LA. I live in Culver City, so it'd be nice to not drive so far.
So like a beach setting, maybe.
Oh my God. The Delusion, like volleyball beach setting, like beach party. I don't know. Let me think on that one. No.
Yeah. But it could be a challenge, like, because I don't think ever, like, horror movies, you would think of the beach, but something like maybe like a swamp type atmosphere.
Well, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Actors like swatting away mosquitoes all the time. Yeah. I'm gonna have a high turnover rate there. But that'll be fun. We'll see. Next year's gonna be very interesting, because there might be a bit of a transition into a few other things with the Department of Immersive. That's kind of what I'm doing here, is creating a new department for 13th floor. So Delusion's our first project.
Okay, so yeah, with that, yeah, with the department with stuff outside of Delusion, how does that carry over to like the other haunted places, haunted attractions?
Well, like my producer Dave and I have gone to a few different locations of 13th floors haunted houses, and the plan is to kind of use their existing spaces to create experiences within them, sort of add-on experiences. Like we have an idea for Hayride next year. We have an idea for the Joliet, the prison out in Chicago, something like that. We've been there a couple times to check that out. So is to bring a little bit of the delusion concept into their haunted houses. So that's a part of the plan as well.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, all right, let me take care of this part, and this will be just just more of it, more of what people know from like the interactive aspect of these horror shows.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just like walking through a haunted house, and then you can get a group of 10 people and have a little bit more of an intimate experience and a little more rich narrative to kind of sink your teeth into. I mean, everybody wants that kind of thing, but around the country, it'll if we can get some of those installed, and they're like VIP experiences, add-on experiences. Spend an extra 30-35 bucks to go do you know this this fun adventure with a small group of people.
Mm. And with okay, so now yeah, 13th floor helping you just focus on what you want to do with just the creative process.
Yeah.
And I don't know if if you want to dive deeper, but what are your thoughts on ideas on what venues you want to do like next time, like anything? Whereas I really want to go with something even creepier, scarier.
I know you can. I don't know. It's interesting you say that because it's like on one hand, on the human nature, we want to like keep doing better, and then you do creepier and scarier and scarier and scarier. At what point does it kind of like does it end? And I don't really think about it that way. I
Uh,
think about it like what's just unique and different and captivating. And again, with the Delusion show, because it's Halloween, everybody thinks, oh, it's scary, scary, scary. Yeah, it's definitely scary and it's definitely creepy, and especially the music, the score, everything we put into it is it's like nothing else. But um, maybe we'll do, in 2018 we did the Blue Blade, which is like an Indiana Jones meets Blade Runner kind of style, and that wasn't terribly scary, but it was captivating. So I don't know. There's two locations in LA we're looking at now. Both are of the hauntingly beautiful vein. Um, there's the prison in Chicago. It's incredible. That you talk about scary. We went down in the bottom of that prison, and you can see where some of the inmates were shoved into holes in the
oh, wow.
in the concrete that were burrowed out. And okay, that's disturbing. I didn't even want to do anything there because I was like, I don't want to build anything there. I don't want to be down in that basement.
So even you
But
have your
yeah,
limits.
well, yeah, we were going to do a show in an old hospital, and I was like, this is not to get dark. This is when my mom passed away, and I was like, I don't want to be in a hospital. Like, just it's so depressing in a hospital. I understand, like, yeah, you can have a lot of fun, but I just personally, I was like, I want to do that. But just going back to your question, we'll see what stories come about. I don't know exactly which ones they are. A thought is to again go back to the beginning of Delusion, 2011 and 12 story, and remount those, and then kind of work it through as the ones that people have missed. But that takes a very special venue, right? It's like
Mm, yeah, yeah.
they're hard to find, but we're looking at one right now.
Oh yeah, so yeah. I can't wait for the next one, and I can't wait for this one too. And I think with
Yeah, me
that,
too.
we can wrap it up. I don't know if there's any last words you want to say about this.
Uh, well, I would say, if you've been there before, I assume you might have gotten your tickets already. Because they're going kind of pretty fast. Like we have pre-sale that went on sale last week. So a lot of the primes are gone, but the public tickets went on sale yesterday. So, I think it's a matter of just we get a lot of people who've come in the past to say, okay, now we got to gather our friends and like let's go, let's go, let's go. There's a lot of coordination happening right now. I'd say push that harder. Like make sure you get those tickets and you get the times that you want to go there, because I treat every delusion like it's its last one. We have no idea what's going to happen next year. You know, we only have control over so much, and these are very, very special shows. We put a hell of a lot of love into them. So I would stress that people focus on that. That this is something you can't get anywhere else. So it's a higher ticket price, and you know it's 100, sometimes up to upwards of 140, 150. Absolutely worth it. I will always defend that and stand by that. We don't have many complaints about that at all, because once you're there and you see what we put into it, like you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. So yeah, that's what I would say about the show. Like, I'm a fan of it. I want to be there. I want to experience it, and I think there are plenty of people who feel the same way.
Yeah, no, I think the price just for like these shows, I think it's worth it too, compared to, let's say, you're paying what now for like a musical, sitting on the front row, but you don't get to like be in it.
Right. Yeah. And the small groups. I mean, you're in a small group. Like, where do you get that? Yeah, there's a lot, and especially with like this whole spectral soiree going. Yeah, so get it. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you, John, because you've always been a big supporter of the show over the years. So big thanks to you and your team for like spreading the good word about it. I appreciate it.
And just thanks for doing the interview, and always just making these awesome shows. Because without you, I don't know what we would have. Because you're there like yearly, and you would just do these shows that just makes people feel like they're like a part of something like truly just mind blowing, and I appreciate it.